Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for taking some time to join us for our webinar, COVID-19 Reshaping the Way we live and do business. Today, our speakers will be Spencer Gracias, CEO of Stefanini North America and APAC, and Carla Ferber, Stefanini's Global Marketing VP. After the webinar is done, we will be sending out a recording of our session today and some key takeaways that we would like to give to you. So, all right, Carla and Spencer, let's get started.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks, Amy. Glad to be here. Carla, I think we're gonna start today, right? So the floor is with you, Carla.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. It's a pleasure to be here. So today we're going to be talking about the impact of COVID-19 in our lives, in our business. So, whoops, let me see if I can, am I switching the page? Oh, yeah. So we are actually living in a strange moment. Everything is a little bit weird for us. The majority of us are at home, living a moment where we have time enough to reevaluate our relationships, the way we live. We actually are being able to talk to ourselves. We are coexisting with families, with roommates, and we are actually learning more to coexist. So we're always living at home. We're always doing things. We're always outside of our home. So and we are living a virtual life. Imagine us without Wi-Fi. We would now be dead because everything we do is based on Wi-Fi. We need to be online for everything. We are living a moment that's a virtual life, really a virtual life. And then we can see that actually the healthcare industry and the industrial sectors are the ones that are suffering more than anyone. They're having to reinvent themselves very fast. We're also all overwhelmed with so much information. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And businesses are having to reshape themselves, reinvent, because they have to fit to our new needs. We have new needs and we have to fulfill those needs. So we're going to also be talking about what we can do to our business and how we can do that. So it's a zero contact society now. We're supposed to be at home as much as possible and live a life that's far away, but we want to be together at the same time. So we are going to see that our entertainment and pleasure moments, they're all becoming virtual. So we have celebrities and we have musicians making live streaming concerts. We are doing family gatherings, parties, and talks with friends through Skype to Zoom, Hangouts. So we're even celebrating birthdays. We're doing exercising, gym, boxing, yoga, whatever to keep us safe and mentally and physically healthy, online and streaming. So those are new habits. E-commerce also. E-commerce, it's a new norm. We jumped from an average of 4% on e-commerce to almost 90% on e-commerce. So in the products that we used to buy, they changed completely. Who would dream that you would be like racing online to try to buy like cleaning products instead of beauty products, right? Or instead of what's their next trip to Cancun or to Paris, whatever. Brand loyalty, that changed a lot too. Because now you're just getting whatever you can get. Either when you have to go to these stores and whatever is left on the shelves, or when you dig in and searching, navigating to the big e-commerce suppliers. We have Amazon, we have Walmart, we have Costco. Those are the big e-commerce platforms that have great distributions. So those things are actually changing the way we live, the way we live our lives today and tomorrow. When we come back, when COVID-19 is gone, we're not going to go back as we used to. We already changed our habits, and that will be very important to see how we have to adapt business to that new way of new needs, because the needs becomes demands, and the demands becomes the products that we have to produce or solutions that we have to provide. Autonomous delivery. So drones are not on the news anymore. They're part of our reality. Amazon already started. We have Amazon Prime Air. It's already doing some of the deliveries through drones. Robots, they're also now part of the pickup. In China, they're doing a lot of deliveries with pickup. So you stop your car and suddenly imagine, look into the back of your truck, there's this robot putting the boxes on the trunk of your car. So that is real now. That's part of our days, and it will very, very fast become part of our days. So we have to adapt to that. Autonomous vehicles also. In Florida, we already have vans that being autonomous driven, delivering tasks to different locations. So the COVID-19 tasks are being delivered in Florida through autonomous vehicles. So that's now happening this week already. Work from home. Well, that's a new norm. Everyone is talking about at least the white-collar jobs that are allowed and they can work from home. So what we always heard, we can work from anywhere with any device at any time. That's true. And so we have to learn to adapt, because in the initial phase, everyone thinks it's cool. Oh, great, I'm not going to miss that time that I used to commute to get to work. I have that time for me. I can work that with my time, and then I'm closer to my family. But then it's not that easy. You have to take care of the family at the same time and create some norms. Have always in the same place, have a routine, concentrate and focus. So it's not, don't be in pajamas, because that's easy. You might feel that you might need to be cozy and comfortable. So there's some rules that we need to adapt, and we are learning how to adapt to that. And it's a new way of.
Can I ask you a question, Carla? Okay.
Yeah,
so, because you mentioned a super important aspect of working from home and how you managed, your teams, and you have a local team as well. You have a global extended team. For the global team, to always being remote with them, but in the local team now that everybody's in their house, so what would be, tools or techniques that you kind of recommend for us that are managing, teams or being part of the team? So how you keep that bond and that teamwork, now that everybody's isolated in their houses?
It's funny because in my case specifically, I have part of my team in U.S. in Detroit area, in Manila, and in India. And then it seems that now I feel a little more closer to them because we're doing video conferences. So a good platform that will allow you to interact and have video conferences is very, very important. And before, we used to have the habit of only talking through audio. But when you have the video, it's very important because you have body language, you have expression, you can see, you can understand the person much better than actually just voice. So having a platform that will allow you to have several people connecting from different parts of the regions at the same time with video, it's very, very important. So now we can see the team that's in Manila and India and talk to them closer. So you feel more engaged. So it's what we say that is the social intimacy that we are creating virtually, because you are creating more intimacy. So you're creating more engagement. So the platform, it's very important. You could be, in our case, we use Microsoft Teams. There is several platforms that you could be using to engage in a collaborative way. And that's very important also.
Yeah, interesting to hear that you feel now closer to your team than before. It's incredible, right?
Well, at least the ones that are far away, right? Because the ones in US, we're always together, so that's easier. But now I can see Anna Maya, I can see Matma, I can see Aubrey, so I can see Jerome. And before, we didn't have that habit of having the videos. So at least for me, that'll be interesting. I'm going to talk to them to see if they feel the same way, that we can see each other more. We got closer. I think I feel that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Same thing with online studying. I think if we think that that's a new habit for everyone, but especially the public sector was not ready to have classes online. and they have to gather together districts, sub-districts, following the same opportunities to everyone and the same educational steps that they have to follow. The private sector is a little quicker, and they already had, even though a lot of the kids, they do use Google Class, but it's just one thing, it's not having the full class. So a good platform, it's very important for the online. So the schools are facing that big challenge of adapting the curriculum to the new way of teaching online. And professors and teachers, they're going to become stars now. They already were, but now they're becoming celebrities, because you want to see, they need to engage with their students in way more than they used to, because physically, they're not physically there. So the video, again, is very important. So we will face that adaptation moment where we need to, it's not going to be easy for teens and kids to have the self-discipline and willpower to really study online all the time. So we will face some of that struggle at the beginning, but studying will be online too. And again, it's not going to, once we go back, I don't know what format we're going to be going back. Of course, they will be it's always the need of the physical interaction, especially at school. But the online classes will also maintain. Here, what we're talking that's now I think the only good thing that COVID-19 is bringing to us is the back to nature. So we are being able to have fresh air again, to have fresh water. So we see in China already, big reflection, how much the pollution is gone away. So we probably, most of you guys saw Venice. We can see the fishes through the canal. We couldn't see. Oh my
God, look at Venice.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? I mean, you can, and the canal is deep, so Venice is even harder than other places because it's deep, so you can actually see the bottom of the water. Healthcare. So now it's virtual healthcare, and it's increasing enormously. So we are now talking about having appointments virtually, and then having your doctor prescribing and analyzing the results of your exams and how do you feel through virtually also, if you can. Not every case you can, but Forza, for example, is estimating that by the end of the year, this year, we're going to have more than 900 million consultants, video appointments with doctors. Teledoc, which is one of the telemedicine providers, they already saw peak. They already have online consultants, 15,000 a day. So that's incredible. The healthcare system is also struggling quite a lot. So hospitals are not enough. We have the temporary tents that we're building in New York and in several places. Again, it's not being enough. Even our U.S. Navy hospital that was shipped to New York to treat non-COVID-19 patients, now it's already with COVID-19. So there is no enough space. So the society, that we can see a lot of the companies is helping and having a stronger sense of community to help everyone. So we have the automotive companies, we know Ford, GM, Tesla, FCA, they're all helping to build ventilators. But not only them, we see smaller suppliers and business owners also helping us the way they can, and the luxury brands. So we have some luxury brands that also changing their production line. For example, like LVMN is producing hand sanitizer. Kristen Serrano is producing face masks. So everyone is helping a little bit as much as they can, because there is not enough people, there is not enough rooms at hospitals, there is not enough equipment. So we need to support as much as we can. And the racing to find the cure, because that's something that's beautiful. The work that all the technology companies are putting together to help all the bio companies also to run for the cures as soon as we can. We already have more than 20 vaccines being tested. Ideally, we have to wait for a year, for at least a year, or in reality 7, but a year for the cure. But we have some vaccines that are already with 10 weeks on a trial test. and with some existing results. Empty factories, so that's manufacturing sector. I think it's one of the sectors that is really struggling a lot. So we see that they're reducing the number of SKUs they produce because the shelves are empty everywhere. But food manufacturers that are in full capacity, they're actually hiring more temps employees. But they're using new technologies. They all realize that they have to use new technologies to supervise the full process of the supply chain. So they're adding new technologies as fast as they can, such as cargo tracking, automated warehouse, cloud-based GPS, and RFID. So there are a lot of changes in all segments. We all saw the running to buy, so the pandemic about buying. It's funny how we behave when we feel threat. I mean, just to have our pantry full, we feel safe and secure. So the running towards buying and maintaining a huge stock at home made us feel safe. But that's a little bit about also the uncertainty of all the messages that we receive from everywhere, from the world organizations, for the Center of Disease, from our Trump government administration. So social media also plays a role of sometimes overwhelming us with information. The impact on a small business is there's not much to say, everyone knows. Unemployment is hitting up to 6.6 million people filing for unemployment. All these small business are part of, they're all closed, they can't be working now. And I think as much as we can go local, that should be part of at this moment, it should be part of our job to try to have small restaurants or anything that we can help locally. They are with doors closed, but they are still working. And they will have to revamp, as soon as they have to go back to work, they will need to go online. The e-commerce platform is going to be part of every small or big business, and they probably have to combine and create an effort and a partnership to be able to minimize the cost of distribution with the platform. Tourism and travels, that's a big hit. I mean, when we look at them, they lost, the airlines lost more than $425 billion. And we are going to see the recap of that. It's not going to be as fast as we imagine. In China, for example, hotels dropped revenue in 70%, occupancy, and now they are recuperating for 14%. So still struggling a little bit, the tourist industry, and that helps with unemployment quite a lot. Infodemic, like I was mentioning, so the misinformation causes a lot of pain, a lot of panic, and so that's something that we need to work with it. It's good and it's bad. So the World Health Organization is working, for example, with TikTok. Last Friday, they released a video about how to proceed to take the proper measures to take care of our health and prevent spreading the COVID-19 on TikTok. And up to now, they had more than 27 million views. So the same way that social media can misinform, it can help a lot. So all the control organizations are using the social media platforms to support. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are also working on taking out information that are not reliable on the webs. So I think that's a view of what are we facing in behavior and how are we living into that world. And I think I would just hand over to Spencer to talk a little bit about what's the impact in the business.
Oh, that's fine. Thanks, Carl. But before I go with my point of view and share some of my thoughts, here I am with another question for you. So, listen to all of what you said, and I can see myself into pretty much everything that you described it, right? From a new life, I was the type of guy that, or I was in the office or was traveling to meet customers, and now I'm here at the house, and then you have, you know, other people around you and the noise of the house and etc. And then yet you have to control yourself, otherwise you start working at 6 a.m. in the morning, and because your computer there and the things never stop to come, and then it's midnight and you can be, you know, just continuous working. You have to understand, and this is not for me, it's not a, you know, a shirt, or, you know, it's not a 100 meters, you know, run. It's probably a marathon, so you have to be prepared and keep your pace. Otherwise, you're going to burn out in more, you know, 2 more weeks, and then what's going to happen, right? But you know, with everything you said, what do you think are, you know, the most important lessons that the business can learn during, you know, this pandemic of COVID-19?
I think new technologies, I think understanding the new need is very important, and using the new technologies properly. I think the buying process is going to be so different. The consumption is going to be so different. Everything we're now into like 70, 80%, 90% of consuming everything digitally. And we will go down, but we're still going to have 20, 30% depending on what we are consuming digitally. So a very important e-commerce platform is super important. Brand loyalty, I mean, it's going to be very difficult to maintain your customers. I think the usage of VR and AR, virtual reality and augmented reality is going to be very important, because that's how you're going to test and trial. So nothing you can touch, feel, and experience. So experience will be through virtual reality. So I think we have to be tuned on how we can take advantage of any kind of e-commerce. Could be B2B, B2C, it doesn't matter. It will be virtually a lot. And new technologies and platforms. What are the new needs? Revise, rethink, reinvent, and open your eyes for the new needs and which technologies are open there, out there that can support you. I think we have to really, first of all, understand how we're going to reinvent and what is the new needs. Any segment has a new need. No one is going to be as it was before.
Yep.
So you can't produce your products like before.
Yeah, if it's something that is for sure now, is that we're not sure about anything at this moment, right? And if it's something that's going to change, that we know it, you know, it probably everything's going to change in some extension. So thanks, Carla. Very insightful, everything that you shared. I really like it. You know, from my side now, I want to share some thoughts also about, you know, how the business will evolve, and also lessons learned, you know, from my personal experience leading, you know, an organization that has, you know, people in Asia Pac and here in North America as well. But let me start saying two things. One, you know, I'm in the house like you are probably, so you know we are subjected to any surprise and etc. So please forgive me if, you know, any noise, you know, a doorbell, whatever, you know, happen. I think it's time now for a lot of sympathy and empathy and patience with each other, because everybody's adapting right now. You know, this crisis level set everybody now, and we are restarting from a common ground. So it's easy to now, you know, understand each other, and we have to exercise that more and more. And then the second thing, there's no right answers to what's going on right now. It's you know, it's personal and professional point of view, but we're still going through. So you know, my personal opinion, thoughts that I collected over the, you know, the last at least here in the US 4 to 5 weeks that we've been you know, living this, but a little bit more because of our folks in China, and that we have been exposed to this crisis first in China, and we have that opportunity to learn from them as well. Carla, you have my slides, so then I'll need you to keep flipping on the slides, please. So
let me know when you
yeah, like you said, every crisis will bring opportunity to innovate. New business models where technology and social media will dictate the pace. Hey, social media is not for fun anymore. Social media is for real, and it's driving the business out there. You just mentioned TikTok. Oh, by the way, I have an account on TikTok if you want to follow me. Just kidding. But yes, I do. I post some videos there because I want to learn the platform as well. I've heard that's going to be the biggest one in a short period of time.
My daughters, all they do is TikTok 24/7.
Wow, yeah, I know. I have the one teenager and one pre-teenager in the house. So can you flip over, Carla? We're talking about now about platforms, right? So if you see, it's all about platforms where companies will be part of an ecosystem. Sometimes, having its own service complemented by other companies or even competitors, and sometimes the other way around. It's really a collaboration platform that's gonna take in everybody out of their comfort zone. You have to understand, you have to be open to receive and to go and type into. Banks were the first ones when they started this platformification, where they are open up their banking systems to the fintechs, so then the fintechs can come and utilize some of their core systems and provide other systems, and the banks in the same way getting some of the products of the fintechs and using as a way to serve their own customers. It's all about that. It's all about integration and cooperation, collaboration among all companies, and creating huge ecosystems. If you go to the next, Carla, in this time for crisis, all this interconnection and decentralization open up for cyber crimes. It's always a dark side of everything, right? So cybersecurity now, it's more important than ever. Unfortunately, the human being has always this dark side of the mind that is looking for opportunities to do something bad. But we have great companies that are providing cybersecurity services out there to keep us protected. But more than ever, because we're now connected. That's fine. To go to the next one. Right now, it's all about video conference, deliver, e-commerce. If you're not a user yet of those services, you better get use it to, because it's the new way to do things. Those you're gonna find out that probably your favorite restaurant is gonna start delivering, and you can get your favorite food at your door because your favorite restaurant now is delivering. You're gonna find out that technology will allow you to try things without going to the stores. Augmented reality, virtual reality, those are to start a conversation about how the e-commerce will shape up especially after this. People realize now that they need way less, movements within the cities and etc. that they thought. You can go to the next one, Carla. Like every crisis or every revolution, some will fall, some will rise. It's being always like this. It's kind of a natural selection from a business perspective as well. You're gonna see, right now, like Carla said, food and in healthcare, right? Right now, what people needs to think about now is how I keep myself healthy, and then of course, in order to do that, I need to eat, so I need to take care of, food and etc. But those are right now, um, um, with when the new if you think about the new Maslow pyramid, probably internet connection, comes to the base, and then food and water and etc. But
If I may ask a question, out of
sure.
those jobs that are being new temps jobs that are being created, we have a lot of them. What do you think it's gonna? Do you really think it's gonna be temps, or do you
I
think they're
don't
gonna be
think it's gonna
absorbed
be 10.
by?
Well, some because of the rush at the grocery stores and etc. But then, those guys would turn to personal choppers, so personal pickers, etc. at the grocery stores. The whole supply chain, it's changing. So
Mhm.
I don't think the Amazons and etc. will shrink. So Amazon will keep needing more people to deliver and to take care of their distribution centers and etc. So I personally don't think a natural retraction will happen, but it's not going to turn back to what it was before, Carla. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's for sure. So now, what you can do, in terms of your business, and I divided that in three phases, right? Pre-crisis, intra-crisis, and then post-crisis. Well, learn from others, and we had the experience, we had the opportunity to learn from China. China went through this first, and then we start to learn. And for technically speaking, right now it's a big deal of business continuity plan reviews and disaster recovery reviews that all the companies are doing right now, because we definitely changed some of them and then adapted in some degree. So learn from that, make sure that your plans are updated, because when the crisis kicks in, it's time for execution, not to think about and plan. This is why we plan ahead of time, because when the things happen, you don't have time to think anymore or plan. And now it's time for execution. So that's the one. Make decisions with the information that you have available at that moment. If you still, if you keep waiting for having more information in order to make your decision, you're going to be late on your decisions, because information will never stop, and then scenario change a lot. So be agile, try things like the agile methodology. Fail fast, learn faster, and then keep moving.
Yeah.
The other thing that we've learned all together is to centralize decision and decentralized execution. Of course, in times of crisis, you have to have your core, your crisis team, and then the decision. Decisions are made by that team. You cannot allow everyone in the organization make decisions. You're going to create a chaos. So you have a team that centralizes the decisions. Once the decision is made, you decentralize execution. Then you go and say, you empower people to execute that decision that was made. That works very, very well and helps organizations to, overcome obstacles when the crisis comes. Now, if you think about what you do during the crisis, right? So then our next slide, it's during crisis, what you're going to do. So let me tell you that you communicate, you get closer to your customers, you take care of your mid management. It's incredible how mid management in our organizations and enterprise are key. I think a class of leadership was kind of let it aside a little bit, because it's first line manager, they starting as a manager. they are the glue that keeps the enterprise together as a team, the mid-management team. They are the ones touching the majority of the employees. So, work with your mid-management, get close to them and make sure that your message is going through and touching all the layers and levels of your organization. Cash is king during so take care of your cash. Take care, review your expenditure, review your account receivables, make sure that your finance team is taking care of your cash. Cash is really king on this time. And focus from a sales perspective, Carla would say also that we need to focus on what is relevant now. The market out there, it's putting the nice to have projects all aside. They are putting on hold. Now it's not time for nice to have now. Now it's time for what is essential, what it matters in this moment, what's going to happen, and what's going to help the companies to go through this crisis and to transform themselves and to find the new ways to do business. Those are the things that your salespeople needs to be focused. We here at Stefanini, as a technology service provider company, digital integrator, we need to focus on what are our offerings that's going to help customers, not nice to have, type of thing. And then last but not least, after crisis, right? What we are going to do after crisis. The world's going to be different. So you need to do one thing. It's funny because you need to keep doing that all the time, but you communicate both internally and externally, and you get even closer to your customers now, because your customers will be, stepping out of this crisis, trying also to understand how they reshape and reevaluate. And you have to be there as a trusted advisor from a technology perspective, in our case, to help our customers to go to the next step. So how they will, get out of this crisis stronger, and and you have to internally also understand and get a huge lessons learned session with your teams in all the levels. This crisis has been too tough for us to waste the lessons learned that COVID-19 is giving to all of us, to the entire world. So we need to take a look on that, and we need to reassess all the skills that we have in our organization, because we probably gonna be needing some new skills that people develop, learn, and some of the skills that we have today that were essential before that might not be that essential anymore. So I think those were the thoughts that I would like to share this morning. And if I'm not wrong, we planned to have 5 minutes from Q&A at the end, and we are spot on, Carla. So kudos to us on time management.
Well, not sure. I think we went a little over, but that maybe I don't know if we have any questions.
Yes, so we have one question right now, and it is, how is the role of technology changing amid the crisis?
Wow, technology now is, oh my God, it's so huge, because like I said, so the new platform of everything is technology now. So I'll probably say that the CDOs, CIOs, those are the ones that the other C levels are looking to them now and say, please, helping us here, bring the answers. 10 years ago was not like that. The CIO was the guy that always bring costs to the discussion, and every time that the company went going through tough times, Here is the CIO to cut costs and costs with IT and etc. Today, I believe the technology is, one of the hands behind the wheel, the steering wheel, piloting the business with the other line of business. So fundamental role of technology, helping the enterprise to reshape and finding their new spaces throughout this very digital world that we have. This crisis did something, expedited heavily the digital transformation. Those markets, segments of market and companies that were like thinking about, oh, this digital transformation is not for real. It's just, it's just something that's going to pass again. The COVID-19 outbreak just, hit the throttle so hard, and now the digital transformation, it's going in all directions faster than ever.
I think also if we think about the life is about someone has something to sell, someone needs to buy things. So it doesn't matter if that's B2B or B2C. We're always talking about wanting to buy, wanting to sell. Those platforms are actually a way to engage and make it quicker. Because if you think about 100 years ago, it was still the same thing. Someone wanted to sell, someone wanted to buy, but it was hard to find what you wanted, hard to deliver, hard to produce. So I think though the platform and technology that we use today, it allows quick and fast for everyone to meet who is selling, who is buying, and how you're doing, and how you can search that. So technology is here to help. If you think in your business that you can use whatever technology, the digital transformation is about putting the two parts together.
And technology is that platform that will unite it, unite every business. You're absolutely right.
So
anything else for us?
Do you have any last little points you wanted to say?
No.
Not from my side as well. It's just thank everybody for the time this morning. Again, it's our point of view, the experience that we accumulated so far. Again, having the opportunity of learning first from China when we have, probably 500 people there that were living this first, and then we have been here learning and preparing ourselves in order to navigate through this. So thanks for having us this morning, and it was great pleasure to share our thoughts with you.
Thank you very much. It was our pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.